Though it has a small collection of coasters, Wonderland in Amarillo, Texas has a strong lineup that is enjoyable to ride again and again and again. But how do I rank these isolated coasters in Texas? And how do they compare to the other rides in the park? Find out in this countdown. On my visit, a variety of rides were closed, including some of the best flat rides that could be high up on this list. Hopefully the park can work to fix up these rides, as the current flat ride lineup is enjoyable but basic, and the few unique rides this park already has could elevate the lineup a bit further. Fiesta Swings, Drop of Fear, Shoot the Chute, Skyrider, and Rainbow were listed as closed due to awaiting parts on the website on my visit. The Train, Wonder Wheel, and Texas Intimidator also were closed on my visit, though this might have been due to low crowd levels. I also did not try Thunderjet Racers, as that seems like a ride adults should only ride with kids. Number 15. Old Tymer Cars. Oddly, this is one of the newer attractions, being a part of the quasi-failed expansion that tried to bring an FBF Visa spinner to this park. This layout is very basic with little theming. It did beat out on balloons and pipeline plunge though. Number 14. Skyride. This looks fantastic and brings so much energy to the midway and park. I just felt a little loose and didn't like the swaying in the seats from the wind while being at that scary intermediate distance from the ground that really gets my fear of height going. For what it is fantastic, but it just isn't a ride I can enjoy. Number 13. Tilt-A-Whirl. Pretty basic for the genre. This one, though, did not get me too dizzy, which is always a nice touch. Number 12. Scrambler. I kept having trouble getting my GoPro to work on this ride, but otherwise, it is a pretty generic scrambler with decent but not great forces. Number 11. Pirate Ship. This offers a mild mix of forces with light airtime on the apexes. It had some positive G's, but not a lot to make me dizzy, which is appreciated. Number 10. Merry-Go-Round. With the music and atmosphere, this was enjoyable to see in a classic park like this, even if the overall ride experience was not particularly great for a carousel. Number 9. Big Splash Log Flume. This prototype log flume from Hopkins goes really slowly out of the station and at other points throughout the ride, but you can get nice views of Cyclone, and it does its job while not getting you too wet. Number 8. Rattlesnake River. Despite its awkward placement, I rather enjoyed the scenery around this prototype river rapids from Hopkins. It has a few rapids and only a sprayer through the tunnel to get you wet, but it is fun for what it is. Number 7. Himalaya. An above average version of the ride, this mixes in laterals without getting one too dizzy. It also ranks high because the operators were just fun, blasting the phrase, "Do you want to go faster?" throughout this section of the park, giving the ride and area energy. Number 6. Fantastic Journey. In many ways, a rather basic dark ride that has a few interesting design quirks. Reminded me more of a haunted house in Thailand than a premier dark ride for a park. Still, I'll take a unique ride over the enjoyable but generic collection of flat rides that Wonderland has to offer. Number 5. Bumper Cars. This was my favorite flat ride, as you got some enjoyable bumps and collisions throughout your ride, and the placement next to Texas Tornado is nice if you see that coaster going. Number 4. Hornet. The top 4 rides here are all the roller coasters, as they all place in my top 25 coasters in Texas. I probably rank Hornet slightly higher than others, as this was my number one favorite coaster growing up as a kid when it operated as Mayan Mindbender at Six Flags Astroworld. But it still offers a fantastic ride for families. Hornet jostles you about on the various turns and valleys while having virtually no strong drop feelings, since I was scared of those when I was a kid. The forces make for a great family coaster for everyone, as even a seasoned enthusiast should hopefully be able to have fun with this coaster. Number 3. Mousetrap. I came into this coaster thinking it would be for the one experience of the drop in the very back row, but both the first 2 drops deliver in all rows, though you get a bit more ejector airtime in that very last row if you can get it. Then the helixes have a bit of force to them, as well as a few kinks throughout the layout that help give this coaster solid pacing and an enjoyable experience start to finish. Number 2. Cyclone. As a wild mouse, the name is easy to confuse with Mousetrap, but Cyclone edges out the ladder by not having restraints. This actually hurts some of the laterals throughout the ride, as the traditional wild mouse section is strong, but likely could be better with more traditional seating. But the drops are designed to give you a little lift over the bunny hills. Not a lot, as you have no restraints, so that you can really enjoy being tossed around on the drops and hills. It is a shame that more of these weren't built, as it really is a complete package for a wild mouse. Number 1. Texas Tornado. This gem of a coaster is hard to ride on a slow day, as it has a high minimum rider requirement and requires the upgraded wristband. But when you get on it, it is great for the strangest reason. The awkward looking loops just feel like regular loops, and the drops all have virtually no airtime. The only airtime I got was into the brake run if I sat in the very front row. But in the various valleys, there's 3 wonderful kinks that blend the positive G's of the valleys with a weird shaking that is truly great and had me coming off respecting the power and forces on this coaster. Which rides are your favorite at this West Texas amusement park? If you got in to ride any of the many attractions closed on my visit, let me know how those were as well. And, as always, Kapkun Krap.